Hello and welcome to Starcraft. My name's Pig and I'm here with yet another video helping you guys learn and improve at Versus mode. Today we're leveling up to the intermediate scouting video. We've already done a beginner scouting video, but this one's going to go a bit deeper. We're going to talk a lot about the idea of how to categorize your scouting information into signs of your opponent being greedy, that is going to the next step by expanding and getting lots of upgrades, or being aggressive, and how you can respond to that with calibrating where a safe lead lies for you in each specific game. We're going to follow this up by carrying that through various scenarios to understand that concept well, and how to choose when to be defensive versus when to be aggressive. All right, here we have a great example of a game. It's a Zerg versus Terran, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and establish a safe lead over our Terran opponent without pushing our economy too far. So this idea of a safe lead relies a lot on our scouting information. To simplify the specifics, rather than looking at exactly what each structure is, just look for signs of greed. In this case, my overlord is hunting. It's going through it saying, is there a third command center? And it sees there's none. It's also looking for upgrade structures. So we've only seen one engineering bay though, not two. So just a single upgrade commitment, no third command center to be spoken of. This means our opponent isn't going for a third base, or at least not quickly. It means for now, they're just building a lot of army and only getting a single upgrade. This is not a big progression to the next stage. So for me saying, there could be a big 2-base push coming out, and indeed, there we go, we see it. But we were already prepared for this because we said there's a good chance of that, so let's take a safe lead. What was that safe lead? Look at my third, 11 drones. So I've said, you're only on 2 bases. I'm going to stop at 2 bases plus about 10, 11 drones on my third, but I'm going to stay the same upgrades as you. Just single evolution chamber to match your single engineering bay. And as soon as I got that 11 worker lead, I started massing units. And when I saw that army push out, my army was actually way smaller than my opponent's. But guess what? Defender's advantage. By the time he crosses the map, it takes his army a long time to get over here. I've had a lot of time to produce, turn that economy into army, and we see that this big commitment to Roach Ravager, which I was already planning to do even if I didn't see my opponent push out on the map, it's going to keep me really safe. I'm so well prepared because I took a safe lead, but I didn't push it so far. I'm going to have the units to crushingly overwhelm this army. So I'm able to just roll in there, which is very nice, right? But imagine if I built 10 or 15 more drones here, or I went double upgrades and I went maybe for Spire and spent all this money on these other things. It's not like I'm defending this push with a huge abundance of roaches left over. So if I'd actually been spending a lot of my money on other things, like pushing my economy lead to let's just fully take 3 bases, let's take all of my gases, let's take 2 evolution chambers, I would not have had enough roaches to hold there. Those tanks, those marines, those marauders would have overwhelmed me because I would have been pushing my greed too far. So this is where there's a line where you want to kind of toe the line of this is enough economy that I'm ahead. I can still defend using my defender's advantage. I should be safe. This is a safe lead. And most of us, unfortunately, aren't very discerning with that idea of the safe lead. And one of the biggest problems we have as players is we go, yeah, I'm going to get ahead of my opponent. Let's take 3 bases, build 60 more drones than them. Oh, he pushed. His army's gigantic. I've got 4 units to defend. We just get knocked out of the game. So think about the idea of a safe lead. Establish a small lead in economy, something which you can actually defend any potential assault with. And that way you're able to constantly progress safely to the next stage of the game. Now we get to look at a very interesting scenario because we're shifting races. It's Protoss versus Zerg. And scouting against Zerg is fascinating because their production is all tied to the lava. So watching their worker count is a huge tell. Here we come in and we say, wait a second, why is there no workers on that third base there? And it tells us they must be building army units. That's because Zerg always has to be building either fighting units, army, or workers out of the same resource. And they can't really make a ton of both at the same time. It just wouldn't work. They don't have enough lava. So whenever you see no workers, it tells you your opponent is building a lot of army units. And here, we've said no workers on your third. Guess what? I'm not going to build any workers for my third. So this way, I match your economy. And where does my safe lead come from? Well, guess what? I'm building pretty high-tech Protoss units. I'm building Immortals and Archons. So even at the same worker count, I'm investing in much higher tech units than Roaches. That's where my lead is. I'm trying to get up these more expensive units. They're very costly. They're not that good in small numbers. But because I'm staying on par with the economy, I should be able to use that defender's advantage to survive any incoming attacks. And this is exciting and interesting because it sees that, you still have the same sort of scouting tells of, is your opponent going for a lot of economy, a lot of army? Are they being greedy or are they being aggressive? And you can tailor your response to that. And that's what allows me to have enough units to shut down this push. And of course, once we hold off an attack or once the game goes on a little bit further, you always want to recalibrate, scout again, and decide what you're doing. So as I clean up this assault, I'm going to go scout with my observer, and I'm going to see, my opponent's committing to a lot of economy, building workers on the third. In this case, I'm going to respond by chrono boosting probes and starting to probe up my own third base to keep my economy on par with my opponent. But I very well could have been aggressive here. Whenever you see your opponent committing to a lot of economy, you can always go very hard, aggressively, go do a big attack. And I could have pushed across and done that here, and after taking such a good fight, there's a good chance I would have won the game. But I chose the defensive option. Instead, I said, oh, you're committing to economy? I'm going to commit to economy as well. And I'm going to build upon my lead defensively. And that's exciting here because it tells us that when you scout, you've got different options open to you. And I played very patiently. And once again, scouting, seeing the fourth base, no workers on it. I said, you've only got 3 workers, 3 bases of workers. I've got 3 bases of workers. This is all I need. Yeah, you've gone up to Hydralisks. Guess what? Immortals, Archons, Zealots. These are still higher tech units than your army comp. I don't need anything else. And I'm just waiting here for this big assault, which I knew was probably going to be coming across the map even before I spotted it, just by seeing no workers on the third. And here, at this point, I'm going to crush this army, scout and see my opponent building drones on their fourth base behind it. And as a result, I'm going to say, look, this time, I'm taking the aggressive choice. I've scouted you committing to economy. I know I'm already ahead, so this is a really easy choice to just go and attack here. Just grab my whole army. I've taken multiple really good defensive engagements from scouting and adjusting my army versus economy ratio to be safe while building a lead in tech units. And we see that now, just so many Immortals and Archons. I've caught my opponent trying to build economy and tech switch into Mutalisks, but that's not going to work out for you, buddy. Archons and Immortals in the rally point, killing the Mutalisks as they pop out. And we got to see there building a lead. Scouting, choosing a response to get that safe lead, defending the assault. Going up another step, keeping your economy on par with the opponent, still building higher tech units and building your advantage in that regard, as Protoss often loves to build the higher tech units, and that's often how you end up getting ahead as Protoss. And then defending a second assault, and then turning into the aggressive after that, saying, you're still trying to build economy after taking that bad fight? No way. I'm going to shift into the aggression. So this is one of the biggest things that we're trying to get across in today's video, guys. It is this idea of check where your opponent's economy is at, categorize that generally, get a safe lead, or go completely aggressive, commit everything to army and go across the map. But just keeping this practice of keeping tabs on where our opponent's economy is at is the most valuable tool in StarCraft. You'll see high-level players always checking the replays or the graphs at the end of a game saying, where were my opponent's workers? Was it where I thought it was? Because understanding your opponent's economy, your economy versus army investment is really the secret to getting the highest value out of your scouting information and making educated choices which you can build a lead from in StarCraft. And of course, building a lead transforms into a lot of ladder points, a lot of wins, and allows us to win a lot of games. So hopefully this video has helped you guys out, guys. That's going to round it up for today. If you are looking for more tutorial content to understand this beautiful, complex game, please do check out the full playlist of the Welcome to StarCraft videos. Not just that, but you can also, of course, find me on my Twitch channel, x5_pig, doing a lot of educational and fun content, showing off different builds, playing all races at a Grandmaster level. So thank you very much for hanging out. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye and good night.